Hey, what's up, Unbroken Nation? Someone listening right now is in that place where, like, damn, I've done all the things. What am I supposed to do next? Where do you actually start? What's a practical tip starting point for someone where they are in this place where they feel like they've tried everything, but they're still symptomatic? Where do they begin?
Yeah. The very first step is you have never tried everything. And I know it sucks to hear that because you feel like you have, and you're like, no, I'm at my wit's end. This is the last thing. There's always more. There's always another method, a different modality, another practitioner that will offer you something, a different approach. So that is just really it's just inspiring because I've been there feeling like I've done everything. And when I was there and I had extended all of the resources I knew through my medical training, through the practitioners that I knew, and I went through that and found that I was still symptomatic. It was horrifying to think like, okay, but I don't know what else is there. So it helps to be your own advocate and to know that even if you feel like you're at your wit's end and you feel like you've done all of the things. I've been an EMDR for 3 years and I've also read all of the books and I've also addressed all of the root causes and I've been on this diet and I've had bone broth for 2 weeks and I say all those things because I did a handful or I've done all of them, but that was kind of like, what I experienced, what I went through. And it's so true that you haven't done all of the things. There is more for you because there's going to be someone else out there who has another version of maybe some of the things that you've learned. And it is going to present itself to you in the right way at the right time. Because that's kind of what happens in this healing process. You seek, you seek, and you seek, and you find the connections, the people, the modalities that work for you. But if you're here today and you're also like, okay, I'm having this aha moment. That's exactly where I am. I'm plateaued in how I feel, and it sucks. Um, the first thing to remember is, yeah, that suckiness. You can take note of it and totally understand that it does suck. That being said, if you stay in that pattern of feeling like things suck, the rest of your thought, the neural pathways that you take will start to recognize, okay, we're in a pattern of stuck and suck. And we'll just kind of continue in that pathway again and again and again. So if you're feeling that way today, the first piece of advice would be awareness of that state and awareness of where you are. The second piece here would be break and change your state. Break and change your daily patterns. Yes, maybe you've been doing all of the things, the EMDR, the seeing of the practitioners, and doing them a certain way. And now you're at this point where you plateaued. You have to do something entirely different. So, one of the very first things that you can do is if you've been in this house and you've been recovering for a couple of years and you've been in this house and going to these same appointments, rearrange your house entirely. Rearrange the furniture, give it a new paint job, different colors. Go through your closet, get rid of those old sick clothes that you've been wearing, even if they're super comfy. Get some new ones. Have new colors. Bright colors can stimulate joy and vibrancy, even if you're not feeling that right now. Change your environment, and that does change your internal environment. That's something very tangible that you can do, and I know a lot of people will say, "Well, but I like, apartment is 800 square feet, I can't really do that." Yes, you can. You can take off that picture on the wall that you've been looking at day in and day out and waking up after an insomnia night and looking at that picture and saying, "Oh, another day." Break the pattern, change the painting, throw it away, put it on another wall, do something entirely different. And then that's like a very first easy step that you can take. I guess that was my step 2. The awareness was step 1. And then step 3 is the incidental training, calling yourself out throughout the day When you notice yourself going down the pattern of stuck, sick, suckiness, symptomatic, whatever it is that you're experiencing. And an easy way to do this is setting a timer on your phone. I say like a sweet timer rather than a very jarring timer, maybe like a wind chime or a little bell that goes off maybe once, twice, 3 times a day. And when it goes off, just stop. What am I thinking about? Is this beneficial? Or is this causing that negative feedback loop of stress and feeding that negative feedback loop? We want to do everything we possibly can to break that negative feedback loop and gain evidence for change. So, simply changing your environment can do that. Oh, it's breaking a pattern. Oh, I'm not experiencing life in the same way as I was yesterday. Okay, that's a pattern breaker, a state changer. Well, the third thing you can do is active neuroplasticity, which is what I teach. And so that's breaking your thought cycle, breaking that negative feedback loop. So in the moment, maybe you're at your computer and you're working and you're like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm sick. Or you get that email and you're like, email from your boss and you're like, oh, what is that? Oh my gosh, like, I don't know what to do. Like, that's freaking me out. I'm getting anxious. Get up, walk outside, get up, put a song on your phone and dance it out for a minute. Something that I'm a big fan of is just through movement changing your state. So shaking your hands out, shaking your arms out, shaking your feet and legs out, even sitting at your desk, shaking your face out. One of my favorite like go-tos in the moment is blowing your lips out and going as long as you possibly can. And something that's really cool about that, and specifically the lips, is that stimulates facial muscles, which can stimulate the vagus nerve, which is the longest cranial nerve. It's the 10th cranial nerve that connects from your brainstem all the way to your belly and innervates all these organs in between. And when you stimulate that vagus nerve, it actually sends a message to the brain that you are safe, that you are okay in this moment. So anything to stimulate that, gargling can stimulate that. Humming happy birthday twice through can stimulate that. Um, I'm a very physical kinesthetic learner, if you can't tell with the way that I use my hands. So I like to incorporate an immersive experience, any sort of bodily movement that I can use. Being able to stimulate that vagus nerve and visualization techniques can be extremely helpful as well. But those first 3 steps are just ways to keep in mind that awareness, changing of your environment, breaking your pattern through your external environment. And number 3 is those incidental training tools, recognizing that you're having that old belief pattern or you're having that symptom in the moment and being able to shift and change and break your state.